don't carry and come. Better information, superb advertisement. We no get the rifle. Oh, to get update and get informed. Oh.
The image of Yoruba. Mi fàyè sílẹ̀ fún yín kẹ́ bàjẹ́. Ẹ ti súnmọ́ ọ̀run tí ẹ ti ń pè yín. Ó ti ń pè ẹ má bàjẹ́ fún wa. Àwọn àgbàyà kágbàyà wọ̀nyí. Àríkú má kú arán ọ̀run má lọ. Ẹ fẹ́ bàyẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ tó má lọ. Kò lè ṣe ẹ lè bàjẹ́. À ń lọ sílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Mo fà àkókò yìí kí bàbá wa Pòfẹ́sọ̀ Activism Bàbá Stephen ẹkúṣẹ́ takuntakun tẹ̀ ṣe lọ àti Chief Dr. Sunday Adéyẹmọ owó babadami Ìgbòho fúnra ẹ̀ mo kí yín púpọ̀ púpọ̀ ẹkúṣẹ́ ẹkú làákàyè ẹkú ètíṣe ìfọwọ́ ènìyàn ṣe.
Celestial half hour.
Èyí gan ló tilẹ̀ jẹ́ ká máa rò pé bàbá ǹjẹ́ tí Yorùbá nation náà tó bá dúró gbogbo àwọn ìwà rékèrékè tí àwọn àgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àwọn ti jogún lọ́wọ́ àwọn ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣe tí assurance wà pé a lè dá a ṣe báyìí.
Ẹ ṣe Ọlọ́run mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ tí ò fi rán wọn Ọlọ́run mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ tí kò fi rán irú àwọn èyí tá à ń sọ wọ̀nyí tọ́lọ́run lọ fi rán irú bàbá Akíntóyè Ọlọ́run fi rán bàbá Akíntóyè ó fi rán irú àwọn Sunday Ìgbòho Doctor Chief kí ìgbẹ̀yìn ní balẹ̀ dàbí jù rẹ̀ kò sí wa tó bá gbé sáyé gbogbo àlà ń lọ àkókò tọ́lọ́run dá fún lúkúlùkù lẹ́nikẹ́ni ò ní ṣe kí ni kò lè yí padà ṣùgbọ́n ìwà ìbàjẹ́ àti àjẹbánu yín ó máa jẹ́ kí ti ń ṣe kí ni alékè.
Celestial half hour.
Ẹ káàárọ̀, ẹ káàsán, ẹ káalẹ́ ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ ìkànnì. Orúkọ tèmi ni Omidan Adùnọlá Abọ́sẹ̀dé. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ ti mọ àṣà àti ṣe wa, ohun tójú yóò rí àti èyí tí yóò gbọ́ láwọn máa mú wá lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan àti nípele. Ṣùgbọ́n kí a tó máa tẹ̀síwájú, a ní bàbá wa ní kalẹ̀ níbí òbí ni wọ́n wọ̀n fi ṣàyàn polówó. Bàbá ẹ káàbọ̀ sí ààrẹ wa. Ṣé wọ́n kì í ṣe pé wàhálà wa ti wá pọ̀ jù báyìí? Bàbá ẹ ṣé ẹ bá wa kí ara rí.
Ẹ ṣé olóòtú. Orúkọ mi ni Prophet Akíngbùlùgbé Ayọ̀dèjì nínú ìjọ ti ṣẹlẹ̀. Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀ pọ̀ fún ìkésí.
Orúkọ tèmi ni Bámidélé ọmọ Adédìgbà ọmọ wọn nílùú Ọ̀tà Àwórì àwọn aláǹpè ní ọmọ onímọ̀ọ́kọ́ ìjìnà ọmọ ẹlẹ́sàá àbárò ọmọ agbálẹ̀sọ sàpèsè sàràgbẹ́ ẹ má ti jẹ́ ká lọ sílẹ̀ bàbá ẹ rasa ẹ kú gbogbo gbà wá. Ká tó tẹ̀síwájú dábì Ọọ̀ni ilẹ̀ Yorùbá à ń rí wọn lókè ọ̀yà lọ́hùn bàbá tí kìí ṣe pé ìtẹ̀síwájú ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà.
Ẹ ṣé olóòtú. Bí a bá wò carefully a rí pé àwọn àgbààgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló dàbẹ̀ ni pé wọ́n ń dorílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà rẹ̀. Àwa la mọ̀ jù, àwa la gbọ́n jù, àwa la lówó jù, àwa la lórúkọ jù, àwa la ní òye jù. Òun ló ń da orílẹ̀-èdè yìí láàmú tí ó jẹ́ kó ní lọ síwájú. Àwọn ló ń balẹ̀ jẹ́, àwọn ló ń da gbogbo nǹkan rú. Nísìn àtúrí Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀, Ògúnwùsì, kábíyèsí ọba Kẹpẹ́. Ẹ tí ìṣàlàyé fún ọmọ Nàìjíríà, àmọ́ Yorùbá, ohun tẹ́ tó lọ ṣe lọ́dọ̀ èyí tíṣà àwọn kíni o, àwọn àtọ̀hún ìwá yìí. Ṣé ó dàbẹ̀ ẹ lọ fún ìlọsíwájú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, òun lẹ́ lọ ṣe yẹn, that's great. A ní kí a jẹ èkuru kókó kó tán láwo, ọwọ́ ẹ̀lẹ́ tó ń bọ̀ sí. Bàbá kò tọ́ sí yín. Kò tọ́ sí yín. Irú ìrìnàjò bẹ́ẹ̀ kò tọ́ sí yín. Rárá àtọ́. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ò fara mọ́. A fọwọ́ sí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ tó dàlú ìlú. Òun lẹ tó lọ rìnrìn ẹ̀yẹ. Àwọn nǹkan tó bá yẹ kẹ́ ṣe, òun lẹ ń ṣe. Ó sì ń tàbùkù bá wá bẹ́ẹ̀ yóò bá mọ̀. Kò sí bá ṣe fẹ́ sọ lónìí. ọba tó jẹ tí ìlú dàrú orúkọ ẹ̀ wà lákọsílẹ̀ lórí àpèrè bàbá yín wọ́n ṣe kò bàjẹ́ kó tó dàkókò tí yín ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kó bàjẹ́ lákòókò tí yín ẹ ṣàtúnṣe ní kíákíá àti ẹ̀fẹ́ yín lókè ọ̀yà rárá torí pé kí ni ẹwọ̀n kan tó ń bá Tinubu fà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ lórí tax bill àbí kí ló pè bill tó ń sọ ń pa èyí bill reform ẹwọ̀n kan tí wọ́n bá fà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ok ẹ lọ bẹ̀ wọ́n kàn gbà sí lẹ́nu àbábá kò tọ́ sí yín sá kò tọ́ sí yín rárá àtọ́ àníṣàláìsọ́ torí pé tí ẹ bá rìnrìn tó tọ́ à ń yìn yín tẹ bá tó rí tó kù díẹ̀ káàtó àátújẹ́kẹ́ mọ̀ torí pé kí ni gbogbo wa ló ń tàbùkù bá I don't know what you are going to seek for from the Fulanis. À ń bá ìdíje ọba olúwo sọ̀rọ̀ à ń bá wípé ó ṣe kí ni ó fààyè gba ìdíje àwọn Fúlàní ní tẹ̀rẹ́tìrì wa ẹ̀yìn tó wá jẹ́ gbòógì gbogbo tí gbogbo ọkọ̀ jọ pọ̀ tí tá à ń wò bí Yorùbá ṣe máa nílọ síwájú bá ṣe máa bọ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn ẹ̀yìn lẹ́tọ́ padà lọ jọ wọ́n lọ bàbá kò tọ́ sí yín rárá kò tọ́ sí tẹ́ àbára ìgbà yín sọ̀rọ̀sà kò tọ́ sí yín rárá by the way now ọgbọ́n àgbọ́njù wa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá la fi da orílẹ̀-èdè yìí rú òun ló ń lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ sí tẹ́gbọ́n ṣe kí ni tẹ́gbọ́n ti àbúrò mọ́lé tí ò fún lọ́rọ̀ sọ ṣe mi ìka lọ́wọ́ I'm not a lawyer ṣùgbọ́n Délé Fárótìmí is an insider ó sì rí gbogbo nǹkan tẹ̀ ń ṣe gbogbo tẹ̀ ń ṣe pátápátá òun ló rí òun ló fún lọ́rọ̀ sọ òun ló jẹ́ kó lè sọ̀rọ̀ ẹwọ́n lẹ̀kẹ́ wẹnu ọkọ̀ ṣé bó ṣe kó rí lẹ́nu rí ṣé bó ṣe rí ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ló yẹ kó rí nígbà tí yín ẹ̀rẹ̀ ti ṣe ẹ ṣètò ẹ̀ bàjẹ́ fáwọn the new generation tó ń bọ̀ kí ni hope wọn ẹ bá sọ pé ẹ ní integrity where is integrity where is Nigeria where is Yoruba land integrity that has gone into shambles integrity tó dàbí kí ni ìyẹ́ adìyẹ tí ò ní mímọ́ ẹ̀ṣayé ayé ò dáa ìgbà ò dáa báwo lọ ní ṣe bẹ́ rí at 95 ẹ̀sìn jẹ̀jà ìtaní èèyàn di fèmù orúkọ yín tí ìṣe kíni tí ìṣe criminal case ẹ̀dẹ̀ deploy àwọn ọlọ́pàá láti Èkìtì command kọ́ wá gbé láti Èkó ẹ wá gbẹdẹlú ẹ̀wọ̀n tán ẹ tì mọ́ prison ẹ fúlọ́rọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kó sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kí Fárótìmí sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kí Délé Fárótìmí ẹ jẹ́ ó sọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo àwọn àgbààgbà aríjẹ́ nídìí màdàrú tẹ́ẹ̀tì jọ fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ tẹ́ẹ̀tì bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́ tí kò sí ìdájọ́ òdodo mọ́ no more justice for one for a common man. àwọn náà lọ sórí tẹlifíṣọ̀n in fact orí tó ń fọ́ mi ò lè jẹ́ kí n sọ àwọn ọ̀kan tí mo fẹ́ sọ ní àkókò yìí a lọ sórí tẹlifíṣọ̀n wọ́n máa gbè lẹ́yìn yín pé wá orí tẹ bàbá kan ní mọ́ bóyá àkísọ̀ tẹ̀nà pẹ̀lẹ́ kan nígbà tó fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ àǹkọ program ẹ̀ wọ́n lọ ṣe orúkọ ẹ̀ pè sí àkísọ̀ tẹ̀ ó wá tó pé òun kìí sàkísọ̀ ẹ̀ nígbà tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ̀rọ̀ lórí tẹlifíṣọ̀n a ti mọ̀ pé ọ̀tẹ̀ ní bá kọ òun ló jẹ́ kọ́lọ̀ kọ́kọ́ tẹ orúkọ ẹ̀ mọ́ lára ọlọ́run kọ́kọ́ tẹ orúkọ ẹ̀ mọ́ àkísọ̀ tẹ̀ àti mọ̀ pé ọ̀tẹ̀ ló fún wa ṣe lórí social media lójú fọ́nrán fún àwọn ènìyàn ó dẹ̀ gbé ọ̀tẹ̀ kalẹ̀ he was condemning Délé Fárótìmí ní ìka tí gbogbo common man tàbí pé kò sí justice mọ́ ṣe bí peter ṣe dé nìyẹn ẹ ṣàn lọ sórí other countries ẹni bó ṣe ń ṣe níbẹ̀ ṣé bó ṣe ń ṣe Nàìjíríà bẹ́ẹ̀ tó ṣe náà ni tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ kọ́ lọ́rùn bá yé yíyẹ gbogbo yín pátápátá ẹ ti jáwọ́ mẹ́ ẹ ti jáwọ́ níbẹ̀ ẹ yóò ní kí ẹ máa gbé mi o ẹ wá gbé mi mo ti ṣiṣẹ́ yín sílẹ̀ tí n bá ti wọnú sẹ́ẹ̀lì yín náà tọ́mọ ẹ̀ bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí síkì mi ṣe wòlíì Ọlọ́run mọ́. ṣé bára ṣe ní ìlú yìí ló dá ẹ̀yin náà lẹ́rẹ́ ṣèjọba ẹ̀yin náà lẹ́rẹ́ ṣòfin ẹ̀yin náà lẹ́rẹ́ tún máa rófin insider lórí yín tó pẹ́rẹ́ wáta ẹ wá fẹ́ pa lẹ́nu mọ́ ẹ fẹ́ incarcerate ẹ fẹ́ pa lẹ́nu mọ́ ká má tún lè sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ Nàìjíríà ká má tún lè sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́. Oh my God. Democracy, government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And what for government for you, the elite alone. And that it build reputation. Reputation to the loss in to the one drown nínú mud. Reputation tí ò ní bíní. Ìlú tẹ́ ṣe for reputation ní lórí, tẹ́ ti gain reputation, tẹ́ ti build reputation náà. Kíni image ìlú yẹn outside the world in a developing country. Ẹ wá sọ̀rọ̀ ká tó sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ build reputation. Reputation my foot. Everybody lára ń kọ́. Gbogbo everybody ló gbikún agbikún ní. Ọlọ́run kan ló fáró tìmí délé tó burst out ní. Gbogbo ọgọ́ta lámọ̀ fún ẹ̀ ń ṣe. Kò sí ìdájọ́ òdodo mọ́. Ikú máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí payé lẹ́yìn ọ̀pọ̀ nígbà tí wọ́n lọ sí mẹ́ta lẹ́tà mo sọ ní December mo ní last December 34 mo ní Olúwa sọ pé ó máa pín lẹ́tà lẹ́yìn lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin aṣòdì sí ètí ṣe orílẹ̀-èdè tàwa yìí ẹ̀rí sí lẹ́tà tí ń wá àwọn kan ti gba tiwọn láàárọ̀ yìí sí àwọn kan ti gba tiwọn láàárọ̀ yìí sí àkútùkù wọn lọ́nà ọ̀run gbogbo alájẹgbèsè ikú ṣùgbọ́n èpè òkè ṣìyàn pa èpè rò ó yes èpè máa ń ròyàn pa ẹ ń ṣe ìbàjẹ́ ẹ ti dojú gbogbo ẹ ti dáwọ́lẹ̀ kò sí ìdájọ́ òdodo mọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ mọ́mọ́ tó jẹ́ pé justice judiciary ló yẹ kó jẹ́ kíni kó jẹ́ glory power àti strength fún common man kò sí rẹ̀ mọ́ àfi man o man. As a man of man, cabas, big elite, ẹ̀yin náà ni ẹ̀yin lè bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́. Náà tí Nàìjíríà tí Yorùbá ṣe rí bó ṣe rí, ó jọ mí lójú nílùú tá a bí wa sí, tàbí ń dàgbà. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ ń lọ sí kọ́ńtù mi, ẹ rí bá àwọn ọmọ wọn ṣe rí níbẹ̀. Ṣé bí láìfà àwọn ọmọ yín bó ṣe rí yìí at 95? Bàbá Afẹ́, Babalọ́lá. Ṣé bí life àwọn ọmọ yín ṣe rí yìí ṣé ò ló dùn mọ́ yín wọn ló jẹ́ kẹ́ sọ pé a build reputation. Where is the reputation? When your children cannot be bold to say I am a what? I'm a Yoruba man, I'm a Nigerian. Where is the Nigeria? Nigeria is in shambles. It's gone. Kọ́lọ̀ tí wàá sọ pé òun fẹ́ pín Nàìjíríà ẹ wá jókòó ọ̀tẹ̀ jókòó ìdíbàjẹ́ ẹlẹ́ẹ̀lẹ́ 40 bàbá Akíntóyè bàbá gba professorship ṣé bàbá Akíntóyè ò gbà ṣé bàbá Akíntóyè ò gbà ṣé kò bá Awólọ́wọ̀ ṣèjọba ṣé ìlú ò dáa ṣé àwọn ọmọ yóò gẹ́rì níbẹ̀ ẹ̀yin president gẹ́rì níbẹ̀ àwọn adàkùkọ ti yín sí àkàrà túnṣẹ́pọ̀ insider tó wá rí yín tán ó wá tàṣírí yín síta ẹ wá dùn yín gan ó ń dùn yín gan ẹ fẹ́ ké bẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́ either you like it or not olódodo ló máa borí Délé Fáwọ́tì mi will prevail over all of you ẹ fẹ́ pa wá lẹ́nu wá bí ẹ múra sí gbogbo yín ló máa gba lẹ́tà pátápátá ọ̀rọ̀ mi ò jùbẹ̀ yẹn lọ olóòtú.
ẹ ṣé bàbá nígbà tá a ṣe tí wọ́n máa rí látòye orí ìkànnì lọ́dọ̀ wa ní à ń rí ọmọ Yorùbá kan tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá pàtàkì tó ń fi ọ̀rọ̀ tí omi tó rọ ọ̀rọ̀ lókè òkun pẹ̀lú arákùnrin Ṣètìmá bàbá mo lérò pé máa rí fọ́nrán yẹn bàbá kílẹ̀ rò sí. ọmọ kan ní kẹ́mi àwọn òríjìnà ọmọ nìyẹn
original ọmọ Badina yes àwọn yẹn build reputation wọn kò dàbí reputation tó lọ build ní Nàìjíríà gbọ́n kò tó fi dá VP lónìí vice president Shettima ó sọ wọn náà I'm not a northerner I'm not a Boko Haram oriented daughter I'm the daughter of Yoruba and oh my God very vocal about it ẹni tó bá ṣe dáadáa a lè fọwọ́ sọ̀yà pé yes mo ṣe dáadáa ó jẹ́wọ́ ọmọ kan ó jẹ́wọ́ ẹni tó jẹ́ ẹni United Kingdom I so much appreciate her mo comment nígbà tí mo rí I saw it over the night mo comment I say kudos to you Kẹ́mi Badina ọmọkànnìọ́ lórúkọ Jésù yóò dára fún ọjọ́jọ́ àánú Olúwa yóò máa bá ọ gbé mi ò mọ reputation táwọn kan build wọn lọ build reputation tí a build ní Nàìjíríà láti dé wọ́n ti lọ dé 95 years torílẹ̀-èdè òde amóyún lọ́wọ́ tí gbogbo ẹ̀dẹ̀ bàjẹ́ tẹ́wàá sọ pé kí ni build the reputation where is the reputation is in the mouth Nigeria in the mouth ẹ lọ wọ image Nigeria outside there ẹ lẹ build kìíní kan ẹ bá clap down on Dele Faroti ni pé kó má publish ìwé mọ́ kó má ìwé ti lọ ẹ lọ bá Amazon kẹ lọ sọ fún wọn lọ́rùn ẹni kan stop production ẹ àwọn country míì ẹ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ fẹ́ tún di ara yín síta Kẹ́mi Badina orí ẹ péjàre gbogbo àwọn ọmọ tọ́lọ́run fẹ́ àlàáfíà yóò máa bá wọn gbé wọ́n the image of Yorùbá àmì fàyè sílẹ̀ fún yín kẹbàjẹ́ ẹ ti súnmọ́ ọ̀run tí ẹ ti ń pè yín ó ti pè ẹ má bàjẹ́ fún wa àwọn àgbàyàkágbàyà wọ̀nyí àríkú má kú arán ọ̀run má lọ ẹ fẹ́ bàyẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ tó má lọ kò lè ṣe ẹ lè bàjẹ́ à ń lọ sílẹ̀ Yorùbá mo fà àkókò yìí kí bàbá wa Pòfẹ́sọ̀ Akíntóyè bàbá Stephen ẹkú iṣẹ́ takuntakun tẹ̀ ṣe lọ àti Chief Dr. Sunday Adéyẹmọ owó babadami Ìgbòho fúnra ẹ̀ mo kí yín púpọ̀ ẹkú iṣẹ́ ẹkú làákàyè ẹkú ètíṣe ìfọwọ́ ènìyàn ṣe mo appreciate yín when I happen to visit bàbá nílé tó ibi tó wà gbọ́ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìyànjú àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ òtítọ́ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tó tú orí tó máa gbórílẹ̀-èdè lékè tó máa gbórílẹ̀-èdè dúró tó dẹ̀ máa tó orílẹ̀-èdè ṣe tí wọ́n sọ jáde lé ẹnu it gives me joy having your time nígbà tí mo tún gbọ́ tí ètí ṣe kí ni alàgbà Sunday Ìgbòho táwọn náà tó sọ pé wá bàbá nílùú wa a jẹun nírọ̀rùn a ṣe gbogbo nírọ̀rùn àlàáfíà wà fún wa ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lọ I was so happy ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀yin àgbààgbà yìí náà ló jókòó sí di ọ̀tẹ̀ Ọlọ́run máa mú yín ẹ ní escape ẹ díẹ̀ lóko ẹ wo ẹmẹ̀wá yín àwọn tó yíbò wọ́n ti gba lẹ́tà wọ́n olóòtú.
Bàbá bí àwọn èèyàn tiẹ̀ ṣe ń kú lórílẹ̀‐èdè wa lọ́yọ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan yìí ó mà ti pọ̀ jù bàbá kí lẹ rí ṣe sí.
kì í ṣe kó pọ̀ jù àwọn tó sì máa kú sí pọ̀ àwọn tó sì máa kú nínú ìjọba tó wà lọ́wọ́ yìí tẹ́ ẹ bá rí bọ́lọ̀ mo sọ ní oṣù kẹfà sẹ́yìn lóṣù kẹrin tó kọjá náà mo mention ẹ̀ lóṣù kẹta mo mention ẹ̀ Olúwa fi wọ́n hàn mí báyìí ni wọ́n sì wọ́n pín lẹ́tà yẹn lé wọn lọ́wọ́ gbogbo wọn máa gba lẹ́tà they will collect the wọ́n gbà wòtòwòtò according to kini according to àwọn yẹn graphics tó bá dá olóòtú tó bá jẹ́ pé kò tó dáa ní obscene to agitate tẹ́ ẹ bá fi reputation tẹ́lẹ̀ build for years yìí tẹ́ ẹ fi tó Nàìjíríà ṣe kò sẹ́ni tó agitate lákòókò ìwà láàyè yín.
ó dà pé sọ lórí fọ́nrán kan.
wọ́n ti ṣàìṣòdodo tó ti ṣe kíni tó ti fi rẹ́ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá lára tó ti fi bá Nàìjíríà wọ́n ṣe bó tẹ̀ jẹ́ wípé we are not of the same ethnicity we are not of the same culture we are not of the same language látẹ̀yìn wá ha ṣèbó ní bó ṣe ṣe bá àwọn olówó ṣe ṣe ti region wa tó contribute sí center ti east Azikwe tó contribute sí center ti Tafawa Balewa of blessed memory tó contribute sí center tó dẹ̀ ń ṣe ti ṣe region wọn tí gbogbo kan wà ókè ẹ̀wọ̀n bá olówó ṣe ṣe region wa ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní àwọn wọ̀nyí àwọn tá à ń sọ wọ̀nyí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn ló ṣe kí ló gé nínú free education Awólọ́wọ̀ wọ́n wá dà kókó tí wọ́n láwọn build reputation. What a reputation. What a reputation. A mud built reputation that is on ground. Ẹ má jẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sí yín o. Ẹ má jẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sí yín o.
Ìyẹn gan náà bá wà díẹ̀ ló jẹ́ káwa náà máa wò pé ṣé kìí tẹ̀sí àwọn àgbààgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá yìí náà gan-an ní ìdàrú.
Àwọn nínú àwọn.
Nígbà tá a ti rí bàbá afẹ́ tá a ti ń gbé Délé Bárúkì lọ kóòtù. Bàbá.
Nǹkan táwọn àwọn gbogbo ló ṣòfin. Àwọn olólófin o. Àwọn ló ṣe. Iṣẹ́ tí bàbá yẹn ṣe tó yẹ kó lórí yìí lẹ́nìí. Wọ́n fi ìwà ìjẹkújẹ ìṣekúṣe àìfọlọ́run pè wọ́n fi bàjẹ́ fún ìdíje orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Wọ́n wá ní pé bí wàhálà bá ti dé ẹsẹ̀ tó bá ti ṣèbàjẹ́ wọn tó wọ́n ní go to court. Ńgbà tó mọ nǹkan tó ti ṣe sí court. Insider tó dẹ̀ rí nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe ó wá jáde wọ́n ní nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe is wrong. Òdodo ló ń pọ́nrẹ́lẹ̀dẹ̀ lékè irọ́ yìí ò lè ṣe é. Ìyẹn lè wá clap down on him to keep him mute. Ẹgbẹ́ gbèsè bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ̀ Ọlọ́run ní gbà fún yín. Àwọn ọgbọ́n ọ̀rá dìde wọ́n visit you one after the other. Ẹnu máa ṣe kẹ́ máa wò nǹkan tó lọ́ máa ṣe. Ẹ̀yẹ́ máa wò. Ṣèbó ó wà nǹkan wọ́n yín. Bákan lọ́lọ́run ṣe mú Pétérù kò ní túbú. Bákan lọ́lọ́run ṣe gba Paul àti Sílà sílẹ̀ kò ní túbú lọ́wọ́ yín lọ́jọ́ yẹn lọ́wọ́. Àfàìmọ̀ kó má tẹ̀ jẹ́ àwọn bàbá ńlá bàbá yín ni. Kò jẹ́ pé o Bíbélì sọ no wonder àti bàbá yín èṣù lè ṣe. Imagine Ọlọ́run ayọ̀ Fárótì mi ayọ̀ kò lọ́wọ́ yín. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dẹ̀ wá succeed tẹ̀yìn prisoner tẹ̀ pa bẹ́ẹ̀ lè pọ̀ lọ́run. Ọlọ́run náà àti kíni a visit ẹ̀yìn náà. Ẹ máa gba lẹ́tà kó nǹkan tó ti pẹ́ mọ́. Kò jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
Ẹ ṣé bàbá èyí gan ló tẹ̀lé jẹ́ ká máa rò pé bàbá ǹjẹ́ tí Yorùbá nation náà tó bá dúró gbogbo àwọn ìwà rékèrékè tí àwọn àgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àwọn ti jogún lọ́wọ́ àwọn ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣe tí assurance wà pé a lè dá a ṣe báyìí.
Ẹ ṣé Ọlọ́run mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ tí ò fi rán wọn. Ọlọ́run mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ tí kò fi rán irú àwọn ẹ̀dá sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Tọ́lọ́run lọ fi rán irú bàbá Akíntóyè. Ọlọ́run fi rán bàbá Akíntóyè. Ó fi rán irú àwọn Sunday Igboho. Doctor, Chief, tí kò fi rán àyè tí ṣàwọn jẹgúdújẹrá. Àwọn tó lóòótọ́ tó lè sọ. And they say they believe in one Nigeria. Tí kìí ṣe nìkan. Tí kìí ṣe àṣà kan.
Àti orí ẹ̀yìn ló báyìí náà tẹ́ fojoojúmọ́ ń sọ tẹ́ ń pariwo dandan lórí ìkànnì.
A máa sọ bóyá lónìí la máa kú bóyá ọ̀la kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n ó ní jẹ́ kí n kú bí olódodo kí ìgbẹ̀yìn ní balẹ̀ dàbí tirẹ̀. Kò sí wa tó máa gbé sáyé gbogbo àlá ń lọ. Àkókò tọ́lọ́run dá fún lúkúlùkù lẹ́nikẹ́ni ò lè ṣe kí ni kò lè yí padà ṣùgbọ́n ìwà ìbàjẹ́ àti àjẹbánu yín ó máa jẹ́ kí ti ń ṣe kí ni alékèǹkà nígbà tí ẹ̀ sí àti ìdọ̀tí ẹ̀ bá dé ẹlòmíì á ní reputation látàárọ̀ ó lè kọ́kọ́ dọ̀tí láàárọ̀ torí ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ nǹkan máa ń dọ̀tí nígbà tó bá dọwọ́ alẹ́ àwa dán alẹ́wà alógun á ṣe yìn èmi yàn kí á ṣe kí ni á bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí á dán mẹ̀rẹ̀mẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ nígbà tó bá dé àsìkò kan ìṣọ́ àtàn jẹ àwọn politician akọ́wọ̀ wọn ní wọ́n mú ẹ̀ tí ṣe ẹ̀tàn àti àṣírí wọ́n gbé wọn ọjọ́ alẹ́ wọn wá bàjẹ́ òun lọ nílẹ̀ táwọn yìí ẹ múra sí orúkọ mi ò yí padà èmi ni wòlíì Akínkùlù gbé ẹ ti mọ ibi tí mò ń gbé ẹ wá gbé mi ṣùgbọ́n ẹ máa múra sílẹ̀ o láti wo àìsàn lórí àkọ́bí àtàbí gbẹ̀yìn ojú ẹ̀ lọ.
Ẹ ṣé bàbá ẹ ṣé lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ ìkànnì Celestial Hour àti Zion TV show ẹ ṣé lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ wà ò ní bá rí báyìí lọ lónìí títí dìgbà náà tẹ́ ó tún rí wa ilé òní ilé wa ọ̀nà nínú wa ọ̀ a ó máa rí yín bá ẹ̀yin náà sì máa rí wa bá ẹ ṣé bàbá ẹ jẹ́ bá wa fún wọn ní ọ̀rọ̀ àdúrà kan àbí kejì ẹ ṣé.
Gbogbo èyí tẹ́ gbàgbọ́ nínú Ọlọ́run tẹ́ sì ṣòdodo òdodo lódodo yóò máa tọ̀ lẹ́yìn ẹ ò ní ṣubú ara ẹ ò ní ṣubú ẹ̀mí ọdún alẹ́ yín ò ní bàjẹ́ orúkọ burúkú kò ní jẹ́ ìpín yín ohun gbogbo tẹ́ ti ṣe sílẹ̀ tó dára èso ní fọwọ́ kàn Jésù Olúwa wa àmín hallelujah ńlá kan o hallelujah.
Celestial Hour.
People might think that why didn't Chief Afe Babalola consider first going to LPDC to report this matter rather than go the route of criminal defamation that we are now seeing? Because it looks to a lot of people as if there's an attempt to stifle free speech. There's an attempt to deal with Dele Fautimi using LPDC on the one hand, and then the law court, criminal defamation on the other hand. Will it have made sense to take it one step after the other, first approach LPDC and see if it's something that they can intervene on, and then see how that pans out before taking the case to court? Is that something that you think that Chief Afe Babalola could have considered?
Sometimes when you mention the name Chief Afe Babalola, don't forget that Chief Afe Babalola is not just an individual. Chief Afe Babalola has become an institution in this country, whether we like it or not. I know that the office of Chief Afe Babalola has offices in different parts of Nigeria. In fact, they also have offices outside Nigeria. And I'm aware that the Ibadan office, which is the headquarters of the office, has instituted an action. I'm aware that the Abuja office, headed by a seasoned lawyer, has also instituted an action. The Lagos office has instituted an action. The various offices are working. That is why I expected that the young man, in writing his book, would conduct adequate research to know who is doing what. Not just targeting this gentleman par excellence, the foremost legal luminary, Afe Babalola. He's an institution. You cannot just get up from nowhere and attempt to bring down such a renowned statesman, elder statesman, who has made so tremendous contributions to the development of the legal profession. So when you talked about some people filing, these different actions have been instituted by different individuals. Although the office is one, but there are different people running these different offices. If, in their opinion, they want the input of the courts, they have gone to court in Ekiti. Some have gone to LPDC. Some have filed some civil actions. I think the legal system, I do not see any conflict. The legal system knows how to resolve all of these issues without one being contradictory of the other. Unlike in the case of judges, where judges are involved, you have to go to the NJC and get the matter resolved by the NJC before a court of law can intervene. But when it comes to legal practitioners, there's no priority in terms of where you go first. You can go to court where there's a criminal allegation, which is what has been done, to deal with the issue of criminal defamation, which is going on in Ekiti. Then some other people have filed an action before the Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee. So these different actions can exist concurrently. There is no rule of priority as to where you start first. What's important is that where any infraction has been found, where there has been a violation of the law, any of these processes, can be legally applied to ensure that, everybody keeps within the framework of the law.
Okay, so when we look at the book in itself that has, after this arrest, reportedly reached bestseller status, largely because of the controversy surrounding its publication, how do you then interpret the paradox that efforts to, stop the book or, suppress it from going out there have only amplified public interest and made it a rallying point for discourse on justice in Nigeria? There are critics who have argued that the use of legal action, from civil action, of course, to now criminal actions, police intervention to stop the sale of the book undermines the freedom of expression. What does this whole saga reveal about the state of free speech in Nigeria?
Thank you so much. My freedom to stretch my hand as I like ends where the nose of my neighbor begins. In other words, I have freedom of expression. I cannot use that freedom of expression to demean other people, to damage the reputation of other people. That's not allowed by the law. Granted that, this book is now widely circulated and all of that, but that does not detract from the fact that where an illegality has been committed, where defamation has been committed, the law should be allowed to take its course. And here at this point, I cherish the attempts by very senior well-meaning statesmen, like Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, the former head of state, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, and other eminent Nigerians who have attempted, to wade in so as to find a way of resolving this matter. But as long as the young man has not seen anything he has done wrong, I think, the law may have to take its course. The law may have to take its course. You agree with me that bad news spreads faster. People have a tendency to want to listen to bad news. I have looked at this book. I wonder why so many people are reading it. But probably because of the notoriety that has accompanied the book by reason of, and this may be the motive of the young man. This may be the motive. You take on a big man so that you become a celebrity yourself. You take on a celebrity, you attack a man of, influence so that people can now start discussing you, in reference to that man. That may be the motive. So all of this will be tested. All of this will be tested, and for example, the title of the book is misleading. The title of the book is wrong. When you talk about criminal justice system, we are talking about the system of administration of justice. But for you to label the entire justice system of a country as criminal, I think that's unbecoming. This is my personal opinion. When I read the book, I thought it was going to be discussing things like how court procedures, how matters are done in the courts. So you create a wrong impression. That title is wrong. That book is not fit for readership because it portrays the entire legal profession in a very bad light. For a lawyer, if a non-lawyer writes that kind of a book, I can understand. But for somebody who has been trained, who has benefited from the profession, who has enjoyed the profession, who intends to continue to enjoy the protection of the profession, to write so carelessly about the legal system, I think it's, to my mind, it's nothing to write home about. It's most unfortunate. It's most unfortunate, And the fact that it's now acquired a celebrity status, it's not a surprise to me because people love to hear negative things. Because most people prefer to hear negative things. Bad news spread faster. When you talk about good news, only a few people will be interested. And that's the unfortunate reality of our existence. Yeah.
All right, Prof. Thanks. You said that maybe part of the inspiration or the reason for writing the book for Mr. Farotimi is to attain some level of popularity and celebrity status. But a lot of people will argue that this is already a popular man. This is already somebody whose views are known, somebody who has always complained about misgivings, shall we say, about the administration of justice in Nigeria. People say, well, maybe it has to do with the activist part of him, given the fact that, many years ago he was the president of the student union at LASU, and a number of things happened, during that time. Of course, he became a lawyer, he's become an activist, he speaks through to power. And so when you say that maybe the motivation is for a David to bring down a Goliath, will you think that is correct, or was Mr. Farotimi actually truly motivated to expose certain anomalies, certain alleged criminalities in the administration of justice in Nigeria? Will you close your eyes to some of the things that he mentioned about the Supreme Court, for example, about courts in general, and about bribery allegations, all over the place, without necessarily narrowing it down to Chief Babalola and a few other persons that he has mentioned, given the fact that the case is in court?
Are your kitchen drawers starting to look like a bad garage sale? Blenders, juicers, choppers, slicers, food processors.
Activism is not a license for irresponsibility. Activism is not a license for recklessness. Activism does not give you a license to libel people and destroy reputations that have been built over decades. That's not what is called activism. That's irresponsibility. Granted, the system of administration of justice in Nigeria is not perfect. And tell me, where is the perfect system all over the world? There is none. As long as human beings are involved, there must be imperfections. For you to now dwell excessively as if nothing good happens, everything is bad, everything is evil, because you want to sell a book, because you want to boost your social media following, I think it's mostly irresponsible. You know, mostly irresponsible. So it's not about saying that there's nothing wrong. We know that there are challenges in the profession. We are dealing with the challenges in our profession, just as there are challenges in every sector of the country. There are challenges in every sector. And not only in Nigeria, the human system is always a moving target. Human development is also always a moving target. In fact, somebody said the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. We know there are challenges, and we're tackling these challenges. New laws are being made, laws are being amended, but for someone to wake up and say that everything is bad, everything is evil, nothing works, and you're expecting that same system to protect you. You're expecting that system to protect your rights. I think it's preposterous. I think it's unfortunate. I think it's unbecoming, to say the least. You know, I think it's unbecoming, to say the least. You know, I'm not talking about individuals. I'm not talking about individuals. You don't pull down a structure. You don't pull down an entire system because you have an axe to grind, maybe with an individual. And here is an individual who was not even involved in this case. From High Court, Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court. It was only after the judgment of the Supreme Court had been delivered that the eminent chief was requested to write a letter with a view to enhancing the enforcement of the judgment. You know, so it is unfortunate that we are not able to distinguish between an individual and an institution. You know, so I think the argument regarding this young man's write-up is not about David and Goliath fighting. That's not the issue. The issue is, can anybody just wake up any day and write any rubbish and expect everybody, you know, to be clapping for him? You know, because we're in an age of social media, people are free to say anything they want to say. There are no editors. Nobody edits anything that goes on social media. This book is self-published. I don't think anybody edited it. It's full of errors, full of factual errors, you know, blunders, all kinds of blunders. And yet, you are now celebrating it because people have developed itchy ears, looking for some scandal, you know, looking for, this tendency of bringing down syndrome. People who have built their reputation, justices of the court who have built their reputation over the years, and now somebody just wakes up somewhere and says they are all bad, everybody is bad. No, that is not good for our society. It's not good for our country. And that's not what activism is all about. There are activists. We know people like Chief Gani Fahimi. It didn't bring down the institution. We know people like Mr. Femi Falana. It doesn't bring down the institution. How come this young man is the only one who can see everything that is wrong with the system? You know, we have, you know, so we have challenges in our profession, and we are dealing with it. The leadership of the profession is dealing with it. The Chief Justice of Nigeria is dealing with all the challenges. Recently, some judges who are retired, you know, they were also asked to pay back monies that they wrongly they collected from the system, you know, in contravention of administrative procedures. You know, some were retired, some was, you know, some were kept under monitoring. So the profession is actively responding to the challenges that it's facing. You know, but for someone somewhere to just get up and say everything is bad, the justices are corrupt, you just paint everybody in a bad. No, I think it's unfortunate, and I think right-meaning Nigerians, you know, right-thinking people should look at it. It's not a question of about David and Goliath fighting. No, it's a question of whether we can It's a question of how do we exercise our liberties.
Okay, Professor, if
to
I
make
can
sure that
come
we
in
do not
here.
destroy the system,
Yes.
so that it doesn't come crumbling over all of us. Yes.
Yes, so it doesn't come crumbling down. We don't have much time left with you, but I wanted to touch on this because this case has highlighted ambiguities in Nigeria's legal system, especially concerning defamation laws. For example, it's been stated that criminal defamation in itself is not recognized in the Ekiti State Criminal Law of 2021, yet Mr. Farotimi faces charges under this category. Do you think that there is a need for legislative intervention to clearly delineate the boundaries between civil and criminal law in cases like this, and how might such reforms be approached?
Everybody come and see, I say come and hear, I don't carry and come. Better information, superb advertisement, we no get it right far. Oh, to get update and get informed, oh. Come to Celestial Half Hour. Celestial Half Hour TV. Now we be the best information carrier.
You know, but there's a matter now that is sub judice. It will bring out the parameters of criminal defamation. But I'm aware that under Ekiti state law, where this young man has been charged, there's a law of criminal defamation. That may not be the law in other parts of the country, given the fact that we are in a federal system. You know, and the details of the criminal laws of the different states are not exactly the same. That does not mean that there's ambiguity. We do not have to have uniform criminal laws in all the states. You know, each state decides what they want to have in their criminal law. You know, the only time where you can talk about uniformity is when there is a federal legislation which covers the field on the subject. And on the subject matter of defamation, it's not a matter of federal law. It's a matter of state law. So the law may differ from state to state. So it's not about ambiguity in the laws.
All right, Prof. Just in a few seconds before we let you go, do you think that there is the possibility of closure to this matter outside of the court, given the fact that you acknowledge that people like Mr. Peter Obi intervene at some point? Do you think that this can still be resolved one way or the other? And then the flip side of it is that if the cases proceed as they are, and then there are judgments against Mr. Farotimi, either in the court or from the LPDC, don't you think that people will say, oh, we said so, Mr. Farotimi said so, that it's a corrupt system, they were going to deal with him anyway? Don't you think that is what will end up to if it turns out that Chief Afe Babalola and his people have the upper hand at the end of the day?
The validity of a legal system does not depend on the opinion of the public, unfortunately. We do not use the public opinion to decide how we're going to apply the law. The public will always have their comment, and you can, the practice when the case favors some members of the public, they say the courts are good. When a judgment doesn't favor them, they say the courts are bad. That is the attitude of the public, usually. But what I would say is that I believe that Afe Babalola is the doyen, is the leader of the body of arbitrators in Nigeria. Is the chief leader of the body of Nigerian body of arbitrators. So I understand that there are efforts to resolve this matter out of court. That will be commendable. But the young man ought to acknowledge that he's wrong. He ought to acknowledge where he's factually misleading, where he has given wrong information, he has misled the public, he has created a lot of confusion. He needs to acknowledge all of this. But where he thinks that he's right, he's not ready to acknowledge, and he has achieved his objective of gaining a lot of followership from social media, then something has to give. The law has to take its course. And we cannot predict the outcome of judicial decisions because the judges have to apply the law. And these matters can go as far as the Supreme Court for a determination. Unfortunately, this young man has to seek the protection of the same court he has labeled as evil. That is the problem. So what I will counsel is in the interest of the profession, in the interest of all that is good, in the interest of the young man is growing up, but he needs to own up. He needs to admit that I made a mistake. Part of integrity, he must have the integrity to admit that I made a mistake. I presented wrong information. I attacked people I ought not to attack. For example, many of the allegations he made, how is he going to prove them? So I think that I believe that this matter can be resolved. We appeal to the eminent chief, Ariafe Babalola, who is our leader in the profession, foremost legal luminary in the country, to please, I know he loves people. He's a man who loves people. Even he has adopted so many people, and not even his children. So we plead with him to please, regard this as excesses of a young man. And then hoping that the young man has learned his lesson as well. Yes. All right, Professor Yemi Akinseye George, thank you so much. SN, thank you so much for the insight that you have brought into this very intriguing development. Let's hope, as you have said, that will be a closure at some point, hopefully outside of
Celestial Half Hour TV. Now we be the best information carrier.